Hello and welcome back to my channel Reviews by Beth, and today we're going to be reviewing a book that was a major disappointment in my eyes, which was Yellowface by Rebecca F. Kuang, if I'm saying that right. And this book I've been seeing everywhere. I recently went on holiday and I even saw it everywhere in the WH Smiths, in Boots, everywhere. I've been seeing this and it was the biggest disappointment for me. Now, this book is all about how to write the perfect book and what to do. And for a book that's literally about writing the perfect book, this one wasn't it. It really lacked pace, storyline, and to be quite frank, I did not want to finish reading this. I pushed through, but it was very, very samey and not worth the read. I feel like this could have been done as a short story instead of a whole 300 odd page novel. But anyway, if you don't know what this story is about, it is basically about two writers, one called June and one called Athena. And both met at school and were aspiring writers. They met at college and they were aspiring writers. They weren't the best of friends, but they were friendly and they had something in common and they often shared those same interests. Now, Athena Liu is a writer of a Chinese background. She wasn't born in China, she was born in America, but she has that heritage. And this other writer, June Hayward, is just American. She's Caucasian, and so they differ in ethnicities. Anyway, to begin with, the novel opens with the line, which actually is a pretty good line. Actually, I'm going to read the line to begin with. I think this is one of the best bits of the book. The night I watch Athena Liu die, we're celebrating her TV deal with Netflix. So, to be fair, the book starts and I'm like, ooh, this is interesting. I could see what's going on with this, bit of a murder mystery. Not really. So Athena is this writer who's massively successful. She's got many best-selling books. She's on the New York Times bestseller list and she's at the top of her game. She's enjoying her life and she's, you know, getting lots of money, getting Netflix deals. She is doing incredibly well as a writer and she's quite famous as well. She's got that publicity and she's just risen since college, and she got her first book deal when she was in college. And she is friends with June, who has written one book, had it published, wasn't very successful, and kind of fell off a bit of a cliff, to be honest. And so they're very different in their success stories, but Athena goes and spends time with June. So June and Athena's asked June out for a meal. That's how this novel starts. And what happens is they go out and they have some drinks, and June realises that she actually kind of likes Athena. She goes back to her flat and they have a really good night. Kind of the first night that they've ever had where they really got on and kind of got everything out the window and they've just really got on, just those two. And so June and Athena are like, why haven't we always done this? I think because there's a bit of jealousy in between them and things. And when June is in Athena's house, Athena shows her new manuscript that she's been writing, and it's kind of finished. The first draft is finished and June's like, wow, this is so cool. And then they go back through to the kitchen, have a few drinks, and then have a pancake. They eat some pancakes and eat loads and loads of pancakes just when they're really drunk. And then unfortunately Athena chokes on a pancake and dies whilst June is in her room, and she's trying to save her. She does the Heimlich maneuver, but she can't remember how to do it, and she rings the paramedics, but by the time the paramedics are gone, she's unfortunately passed away. But whilst June was waiting for the paramedics to arrive and Athena had died, June goes into Athena's office and steals her manuscript. If you're liking this content, then please like, comment and subscribe, and if you want to support us you can by looking at my Amazon links in the comments below or my Patreon. However, she steals her manuscript, which she's not shown to anybody, and then she goes home. Now later on she looks at that manuscript and it's complete. What June says it's completely not done, and she's like, oh, I'm going to take it and I'm going to make it mine because I think I'm an incredible writer and her material is amazing. Let's collaborate even though she's died. No one knows about her manuscript. This is like perfect for me. And so she basically takes her manuscript and she adapts it and makes it her own goes forward to some publishers and goes, I've written this book and what do you think? But she adapts it a lot. She says half of it's probably mine by the end of it and half of it is Athena's. So there's that question about authenticity and plagiarism. But the thing is, the book is called The Last Front and it's all about Chinese heritage and about a bit of Chinese history. And June is not Chinese whatsoever, but she's learnt about it, she's really done her research into it, and she's like gone into the Chinese heritage, and she's like, I probably know more than Athena did in the end. So she did like read many sources and try to get the facts right when writing the novel. So she goes forward to this publisher and she's like, oh my goodness, I've got this, and then the publishers are like, oh my goodness, it's amazing, we love it, it's gonna be a hit. So the stories are basically, you kind of learn how the book industry works and how that kind of vibe works. So you see how it goes into editors and what's needed to be happened and things like that. The different stages when you talk about rights for making it into a Hollywood movie and when you want to adapt it and who's your editor and all of this. So you kind of go through, and that's quite interesting because I didn't really know how the process of a manuscript getting made into a book goes and all the pricing and things. But the rest of the book is pretty much samey. I mean, some people call June out going, I know what you did. So there's kind of like, oh my goodness, do you know what you did? But it's a question of authenticity, and June, she's not a very likeable character. I didn't like her. I think you weren't meant to like her, but she was so defensive the entire book, and it just went on for so long. By like 100 pages in, I pretty much read the whole of the book, and I did not need to read the rest of it because I knew kind of what was going to happen. There was a bit of a twist at the end, but nothing major. She was found out and she was basically cancelled. And there's a whole discourse on kind of Goodreads and, you know, social media, like what I'm doing now, reviewing books, and how that's damaging or that really affects people's mental health, but also like a good review is really positive to sell more books. So it's kind of a positive and negative. And this is something that I've seen Rebecca F. Kuang talk about in some interviews as well. She's talked about authenticity. She says, do we need to be of a certain race to be able to write about a certain race? And she brings that up in her topics, and I think listening to her speak about it is more interesting than reading this book. I just really lacked any pace. I wasn't bothered about turning the page. It was so samey the whole time, and it just took, I feel like this book took me a long time to read. Like it was a bit of a slog, even though it's not like a hard book. It's not like hard to read, it's not difficult words wise and grammar, and you know, it doesn't take a lot of brain energy to read. It was just like so boring and yeah, I just felt like a bit of a slog and a bit of a chore to read it, to be honest. So I mean, it was a very interesting concept, and I think it could have just, if it was to be done, I think I would have just literally made it a short story. And it's just so interesting to me that this is about how a story should be written, and like, no, this is what makes a good book, and da-da-da. And it's like this whole debate about how you write a good book and what should go into a good book and how a good book should be written. And I was like, I'm not liking this book. I'm not finding any pace in it. So it was funny in that way. So yeah, I really did not like this book. I've heard some people do, maybe it's a bit Marmitey, but for me, I just really didn't like it. So I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5 stars. Honestly, I really did not, I nearly DNF'd it, but I didn't. I stuck through because I wanted to see how the ending was, but was honestly a bit disappointed by the ending. So that is my thought on Yellowface. So not what I was hoping. I was really looking forward to that book, but there you go. Not all books are what you hope them to be. If you like this video, then please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Check out my other videos, and if you want to, please check out my Patreon channel. Thank you. Bye.